Hello YouTube, this is Neil again, or Lego Crap 75, and today we're going to cover the Pillar of Autumn / Halcyon class light cruiser, which for some reason I decided to specify in the lore, but yeah, whatever. So here we have the Pillar of Autumn. I made out of Legos. Pretty cool. This is honestly my, if not my favorite ship, my second favorite ship of the franchise. I always thought it was the coolest looking ship in the world. You know, look at this thing. Looks like a building on its side. I always thought it looked cool, even the placement of the guns as well. All of them being forward firing and whatnot. Really, really cool. As well as the engines back. If you look right here, see all those engines all bright and glowing and whatnot. Pretty cool, pretty cool. And so yeah, this is my second ship I ever made out of Lego. I made this one after I made like two of the little Paris class frigates. Because I was like, you know, I really want to build a Halcyon now because, you know, such a cool looking ship. And the old one, whew, was it just bare bones. I think in the original build of it, I didn't have like any of this stuff on the side here or anything like that. I barely had enough for the cannons on top and the side here. You know, it was just like two of these on this side and the two on the other side. And that was it. And they weren't even arranged in this fashion here that makes it look like it's actually part of the ship. It was just on the hull part right there. So yeah, it was pretty bare bones. And I think in the center, it was just like a thin beam of Legos supporting it. And now it didn't have any of this amazing great detail that I've now added to it to make it look more like the ship because, you know, why not? So yeah, look over here, you see the front end. Pretty cool. Got the Mac cannon barrel. Might be a little bigger than it should be, but you know, still looks cool. So I'm just gonna leave it as is for now. Got the conning tower or bridge right there with another turret there. Pretty cool. And oh boy, these turrets were a pain for a long time to try and figure out how to put them on a ship. Because for the longest time, when I finally had enough parts to actually build those turrets, I decided to put them here, which is like nowhere near where the turret should go for the side part there. But, you know, I figured why not? Might as well put as many guns on it as I can. Later on, I decided to add this part as well to add more detail since it, for some reason, has an open panel in the armor. I'm not really sure why they decided to do with that. But, you know, it looks cool. Does it make sense? Probably not. But, you know, still looks cool. So I've decided to put it on there anyways. Here I got little openings as well. Not accurate to the model, but, you know, at this size, it's a tad difficult. I mean, it's possible to get it just right, but you know, it can be a little difficult to try and mimic everything with a scale of this size because this is like what, like a foot long or so. Not super large, but pretty good size anyway. And for piece count, it's about 1,000 pieces or so, give or take. So yeah, not too many pieces, but still a good amount to work with. And let's see, let me show you the underside here, because that part I really added a lot of details to. Lift her up. Oh, and here's a side-by-side comparison to the New York set again. And look at that thing. This is a gigantic, gigantic ship. You know, even though in like the in the lore and the Halo series, it's, you know, it's just a regular cruiser compared to the other ships in the fleet. It's still absolutely massive. And one thing I also want to mention too, I mean, in the lore it says this ship only has like a crew of 1,800. That makes no sense. That like literally makes no sense. You could probably fit 1,800 people in this building right here. And yet this ship can only house, what, 1,800 people? Easily 5,000 minimum. Hell, even battleships in World War II, like the Bismarck, had like 2,000 people on it. And that ship was probably like, what, this long? Like that long compared to it? Maybe even shorter? And it still held like 2,000 people. This thing apparently only had a crew of 1,800. I don't know if that's just impressive or that's just lackluster. You tell me in the comments. Either or, you know? But that's just how I feel about it. Definitely could have had way more crew on the ship. Yeah, so here, let me show you the underside. Hopefully, as I lift it here, it doesn't decide to just disassemble in mere seconds. Here's the underside. I got the little front fin things. I'm not really sure what these were supposed to be, but I added them on because they look cool. The whole ship looks cool and all that fun jazz. Right here I got the underside. I decided to, for like all 6 of them that I have, to make this part, because I know it was like, I think it was like what, a unique upgrade to the Pillar Bottom herself, because it was like, I think it was like, what, Operation Red Flag, they modified it to have like a whole bunch of, you know, not drop pods, well, technically drop pods, but ODST drop pods, so that they could just, you know, launch a whole bunch of them on that giant Covenant class super carrier that was above reach, just absolutely wreaking havoc and being a total menace and all that jazz. There I got the underside of the back part as well as the little angle pieces, and you can see the engine there. So yeah, pretty good stuff. Oh, and I will add, and I'll show you in just a second, when I tried to rebuild this in the studio program, these for some reason would not connect the way I have them connected. So I don't know if that's just an illegal building technique, or they just didn't think that people would use them that way. I don't know, but it's kind of removed that fun feature I had for the ship from the digital build, so I don't know how I'm going to fix it. If you all have any suggestions in the comments, please let me know, because like that would be helpful. Or if I just have to file it, not like a report, but you know, like ask them, hey, could you like make it work this way so I can actually make my build proper in the thing. But yeah, same goes with the turrets too, and the way I have them looking. It's like they have those pieces on them, and it's just like that's kind of how the whole turret's supposed to look, and now I can't have them look that way. But you'll see in a second. In fact, I'll just show you right now, and just I'll leave that. Yeah, there. One final look at the thing. Here's my hand for comparison. I think you already saw, but yeah, pretty average size guy, like 5'10". So I don't know if that really affects hand size, but yeah, there's my hand. There's the ship, and now off to the computer. And once again, we will revisit the floor, as I like to do. And bada bing, bada boom. Here is the digital model of the ship. Looks a lot better, of course, because, you know, I have way more pieces, but I kept it pretty much the same. The only major change I did was, like, add these parts to the ship. You can see there's a little bit of a crease, because this is one of my earlier builds I did in the model, or in the studio program, so I was still getting the hang of how pieces worked and all that jazz. So yeah, have this all looking nice and pretty. I decided to make this a bunch of way smoother just to get the look of the ship to be more accurate. Here's the engines back here. Looking cool. Top part, also cool. Of course, these little indents on the top of the ship, which I think is where majority of the Warthog ride in the last mission of the Halo, or Halo Combat Evolved takes place. You know, still, you know, inaccurate to the ship itself, but, you know, it is what it is. Like, they definitely designed the levels first before the ship ever came into being, so that's okay. Still a good game. Very good game. That and Halo Reach were what got me in love with this franchise from the get-go, so, you know, it did its job. There I got the underside, and here you can see right here, I had to use these pieces to connect the engine section to the rest of the ship. See up there, I put these little tile pieces or slope pieces on it to make it look a little bit better. And I had to do that the same with these turrets. So they look a little smaller than they should, but you know, hopefully I can fix it. If not, I'll just try to add a special note in the instructions to say, put those pieces there, because the program wouldn't let me. So, oh well, it is what it is. Add some more detail here, made this smoother and made this lower, because originally I had this a bit higher up, but I decided to make it lower and then flush it out this way, which makes it look very nice. Really complete, which gives it that, you know, bit of space right there, as well as more room for the turret to just exist there. And yeah, got the whole bottom section there as well, engines. Now this, oh boy, was this a pain to try and figure out. Speaking of which, I've got certain parts for these engine parts here that are just really expensive. I think it's like, okay, that's not as bad. It's like, at first I thought it was like, what? Oh, here we go. Sorry. Yeah, it was like 78 cents. Before it said like 30 bucks, which I'm like, that's crazy, insane. But now it's like, what, 78 cents? So I think that makes it more accurate, or better, I should say. So yeah, there's that. Oops, sorry. There we go. Yeah, that was a pain to try and figure out because in the actual build of it, it's just, I kind of just jammed it together just to make it work. So and you'll see that quite a bit in some of my other models that I have in the real world. It's just like, it's just jammed together just to make it work. But thankfully, I've been able to fix that for the majority, if not for all of my ships now when I rebuilt them in the program. So they now should function better. And yeah, there's the Pillar of Autumn. Thank you for watching. If you want to see more, just subscribe. Or if not, that's okay. I don't mind either way. I'm just glad I got people out there interested in watching this content. Anyway, take care.